as a team manages to get out without too much of an issue, the team more or less almost got taken out by, let's just say, unorthodox means. As you managed to get the information given as well as new information given, your team got the clearance to visit the Sunstone without too much of an issue. Without so much as a howdy do, your team also was able to get inside without, well, I wouldn't say without too much of a problem, as it was a problem, but you managed to get inside nonetheless. Entering inside, it came about that just the environment itself was dangerous, and your team managed to stay alive for the moment in time. In the moment in time, your team also came out of the area without too much of an issue in the form of, well, let's call it what it was, a get out of jail free card, as Mark, the archaeologist, had a spell scroll, uh, just one, to get the team, well, to get the two people out, and one was able to get out on their own. The good news is that Talon was able to get information as well as discover what exactly is going on. Well, maybe not exactly what's going on, but what exactly happened to someone in the past, as well as a blade they're looking for. With that information now, let's say, in hand, you need to find a way of somehow breaking that little situation in twain. As someone inside of that sphere with magical potency needs to be freed, or at the very least, somehow you need to break through the diamond encrusted shell. With the team outside, once more, without dying, well, without almost everyone dying, Kaithal still needs to take a long rest before those exhaustion points leave. I believe Servers currently has one, and Talon kept rolling really, really well. Uh, the team now stands at this very moment, not really knowing what exactly to do. And this is where you start.
What time is it, DM?
Right around now, it would be midday, give or take. It's obviously you're in the dark, so it's hard to tell what day and night is. But given the time frame, the time you've slept, trying to keep things as cyclical as possible, midday, roughly around maybe 2 p.m., maybe 3.
Very well. I pick up Kaithal and I try gesturing to the robot dog to follow. I'll say to everyone, alright, let's go to the inn. Now explain what happened along the way.
Sounds
Mark
good to me.
Mark moves to the side and he does state, "Well, good luck with all of that. I still need to take my own examinations, and I do thank you for the information."
And thank you for your help, Mark.
Of
If
course.
tomorrow you might be available, or we would like to request your services again.
Potentially possible, but don't really know. Don't really have clearance to check things out for another 2 days.
Very well. I suppose we're not too pressed for time, since Kaithal's going to take several days worth of rest in order to recover himself fully. So beyond this current objective we have, we don't really have any other place to go, per se. Oh, there is one thing I'd like to ask you, actually. DM, what was the name of the Crimson something?
You lost me on that one.
The people, Scarlet, the people with the red, the people who use magic get fucked up
Oh,
eventually.
the Children of Scarlet.
Children of Scarlet, thank you. Mark, have you heard anything about the Children of Scarlet?
From what I'm aware, the Children of Scarlet are the Sorcerer's Born, the ones that somehow basically become part of magic itself, but due to the non-connectional form of magic no longer being intertwined with the gods, It is determined by many that they often go mad without a tether. I don't really know too much other than that, as I'm more of a geologist than anything else.
I just thought I'd ask in case you or your family ever brought down information from long ago. I just thought I'd ask, just, for the hell of it. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Captain, for your observation and your help for this mission.
Certainly, sir. He moved to the side to give you guys space. But Mark does state there have been cases in town that some individuals have been born with magic, the sorcerers and the like, but soon enough they do go mad, and when that happens, they get sent into the Underdark. Don't really know what happens to them after that.
That's really unfortunate. Well, I'll keep my eyes out for such a situation. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, that's not good.
I would say not. But we.
Continue.
Oh, but he was going to say, but we can't exactly break through the stigma without finding some type of cure.
Well, what about using or generating anti-magic field? Would that not have an effect?
You're talking to people that can barely cast magic in their current state.
Thinking maybe.
You know what, that kind of thing is.
But
that's pretty powerful stuff. But what do you guys think we could do? Like, do you have any idea how to cure this problem? Like, do we even know like what's really causing it? Besides, like, I mean, people using magic, but like, how much do you know?
As far as I'm aware, there are naturally born sorcerers that go mad after some time. Some of them believe that some woman is talking to them in the depths of their mind named Scarlet. Their eyes change red, their forms become different, until eventually their minds become corrupted. Their attitude changes towards life, and eventually they do go out and kill or do tasks that seem extreme. Before this storm got crushed down into the earth and the town itself got crushed into as well, there were former stories that the children of Scarlet followed the storms, or somehow drew power from it, but that is all just hearsay, rumor. I don't really know, and since we don't have many sorcerers born here anymore, can't really verify that, and if we do have sorcerers, as mentioned before, they can send in the Underdark to try to survive on their own. It's a stigma well placed for quite some time and years. I would say I would steer clear of them, but then again, I don't really know much about them. I was born down here, so can't really help you with gaining any new information, just the rumors I've heard in the past.
Okay.
And that's just fine. Thank you.
Of course. Do take care. And remember, the individuals, bards that you requested for information about, they are in the Silver Song, a bar not too far inside town.
And that's where we're headed. Thank you, Mark.
Of course. So do you guys head to the bar?
That is correct. That's where I meant to go when I said to the inn.
Okay.
That's where I meant.
Well, it is an inn slash bar. In fact, you've been there before. It was the inn you guys like first visited.
Where's home?
Maybe because I didn't want to make another inn. Who's to say?
Bartender, Thur, it's good to see you again.
It's been some time. Are you looking to rest for a while? I'm afraid the 2 days currency that your abilities governed you has ended.
We already have lodgings already. At least that's what I'm under the assumption, DM. Is that correct? The Silver Hands lodging is still open for us?
Yeah, Silver is more than welcoming you back. You can also technically go back to the Drow village, and oh, that reminds me, I forgot to again put the list up of stuff you can buy in the Drow village. Basically, it's any standard adventurer gear, no really magical things. Even though the Drow are accustomed to things, they don't exactly not transport, uh, deal with a whole lot of magic. So anything you can find in the DM book or player's handbook, it'll cost that much.
All right. I was hoping to look for one of the masterclass weapons, the ones that give you a +1 but aren't classified as magical.
They probably have those. Yeah, I think so.
All right, and then maybe some armor. I'm wearing chainmail. Oh, and that's could use some better stuff. But I'll look that over at a later time. No, sir, we have found new logic. Thank you. We are, on the other hand, looking for. I'll put Kythel on a chair, and I'll ask Kythel, "Hey, do you need a drink, man?"
He shakes his head no.
All right. Give him a couple pats. I'm looking for a couple of bards, and I give their names. Do you know if they're here?
Let's see here. Why can't I find you their names? Do you have the names for them? Like, out of game, do you have the names for them? I mentioned them a couple times, and I think I changed it once.
Oliver or Hannah?
Oh, that's right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no. Sorry, I didn't mean to click lesser restoration there.
It's fine. Oh, you're looking for the bards. Well, they don't go until later tonight. Oh wait, this is there. Well, they don't exactly go on show until later, but I'm sure they're more than willing to speak with you. Hana's in the back, and so is Oliver. Just go to the corner table, and you should find them drinking and eating.
Thank you very much, my good sir. We'll go ahead and go back there and have a good old conversation. Kythal, I know you're super tired, so why don't you just sit back, relax here?
They nod and get some sleep. Well, get some rest, at the very least.
So which way, DM?
These two. I don't know if you saw the ping. I'm just gonna drag you guys there. It's fine. Yep.
Oh, I should probably hold off. Thailand and Toan, do you wish to start it off?
Questions.
I mean, I wasn't even in there, so I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. So.
Well, I would start by asking if we could. Who is the most magically inclined, like among them?
You asked it too.
If
Hey, who's the most magically inclined among them? Oliver does state, rather rude question, might I add, but sure, why not? Hannah is.
Like, I would say, like, of all of you, like, who's more magically inclined? Like, I have a job for you. Like, I wouldn't have said it like. I was saying, like, you asked what I said. I was saying it to you, like, not like I'd like to.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
He's just saying. If you're looking for a job, or at least looking for someone to hire, Hannah's more inclined with magic. Hannah, the redhead with amber, light tan, greets you. It's a pleasure. Pleased to meet you. Oliver does state, I do have magic myself, but it's not exactly that potent.
Thank you very much for being honest. Hannah, how would you like to come with us and investigate something very interesting and something that maybe we'll say that somebody of your talents would be more adept at? And also, more importantly, we'll pay.
I would ask what exactly the job is, since I am a bard. And investigating isn't exactly my forte, but if you are paying, I'm more than willing to give it a try.
Talon,
Vaguely describe because I'm trying to remember exactly how you described it. Like it said they're like musical like things like or like vibrating like not to the sound of like music or whatever, but like in like a musical way or whatever. But like I don't want to like divulge every detail, but it's like just basically like there's a magical like anomaly like that's linked to like your like bardic magic, and I think you might be able to help us like understand it. But I'm not gonna tell her anything about the sunstone or anything like that. Just like
Yeah. Okay.
music there.
Talon, before there's a question I would like to ask you, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
Considering the difficulty that we had, would not hiring both of them prove an advantage due to the harmonics that are so connected to our situation? Wouldn't having multiple bards be more useful, especially if they're able to go in sync?
I don't see like why it would matter. I guess like I don't know. Does that even matter, TM?
Uh,
Well, what do I? What is? I mean, what do I know about? Like, I mean, I was in there. Like, what I think more than one bard would be good.
more than one bar wouldn't help, but it would also suggest that you would have to pay more. That being said, it would give like one or the other advantage, which means like the
No,
likelihood of
we
what
only
they
want
need.
one. We only want one. No, I'm cheap. I don't want to bring anyone else in there because I don't even trust anyone at all. I barely trust my friends I'm with now. It's like this is a very serious thing, and the less people there, the better. Because if everything goes south, the less people dying, maybe, or yeah, we'll see.
Very well then. I
Anyway,
just thought I'd
yeah,
make the suggestion.
yeah. You whispered in my ear, and I'm like, I nod, and I'm like, yep, just Hannah. Thank you, Oliver. Anyway, I don't know how much I don't know how much money we have actually.
We do
But
have few things to trade beyond just money, which I assume they would prefer. Yeah, we
uh,
do have some money.
they would prefer. Hannah does state, well, it depends on what you intend to trade.
Do you desire coin or goods?
I can deal with coin, but the only place I would be able to spend it would be the High Mage, or maybe going to the Underdark. Deeper in the Underdark.
Week's worth of food.
Pardon?
A week's worth of food, like a month. I don't know.
Oh, saying this, she does state that would be nice, but I wouldn't be able to carry all that since I am a performer. I basically work to have a rest here and meals. But I'm not exactly able to carry that much food all at once.
I could cook you a fine meal.
Well, that's all very kind of you to do. I prefer a different sort of payment. Something more valuable. As I can find a meal on my own.
As an example.
Well,
What do you mean?
depending on what you have, I am in need of a few instruments, and down here, while the elves are good in the things they do, they don't exactly have the wood to spare for new instruments themselves. So if you could find me something, or get me something, that'd be appropriate. If you are so inclined to offer monetary value, then something with the cost of 50 gold would suffice.
This one's like 50 gold worth of musical instruments or an instrument. Does she? I mean, what does she play? Like, is she carrying a lute or like something, a lyre?
She doesn't carry anything currently, but she does tell you that she is able to play a flute, a lyre, a pan flute, and a. It's not a guitar, but I forget what it's called.
A lute?
No, I already said a lute. It's something similar to a lute and a guitar, but I can't honestly remember. It's not important. But either way, an instrument would suffice.
Okay, well, we'll try and find her a lute or a lyre. I guess, or I don't know if we can find one close by, but um, should we tell her to come with us? Actually, I just had an idea. Like DM, like you said, it was like magical in nature, like not magical, but like magical, like music, whatever. Like if I was like using my blade song in there, would that change anything?
It may or may not. It's kind of hard to tell. The Blade song is more of a dance than a vibration of sound and pattern.
True, but
It might inspire her to like get advantage, but that's only
I
if I'm
would
being
dance
very
pretty well.
generous.
I dance very well. It does give you actually like proficiency in performance.
I mean, that's true.
Anyway, that's funny. Anyway, I will now perform the dance. Anyway, okay. Well, let's go. Let's go buy you your lute slash lyre, and uh, let's go. Let's get to work,
She
and
does
we'll
get
even let you use it before you even do your job.
she does get up and looks towards Oliver. Uh, Oliver, keep the opening I'll likely leave as open as possible. Oliver then states any reason why. Well, as soon as they likely determine how much a lyre costs in this town, they'll likely decide to decline the offer of the job. Fair enough.
I was thinking of going to the Dark Elves first and seeing what they might have.
You can try, but many people are not exactly allowed in town. Unless you're a traveling performer or the like.
So let's go ahead and go down and check them out. I might be willing.
Fair enough.
We passed by our companion. I'll tell him once this place starts closing up, you can probably just go to the Silver Hand and crash there.
He nods. Likely will do so. Joining.
Owen, go ahead and go down to the Dark Elves.
Let's go. We should get as much done as we can today.
Boom, 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 boom. Eventually getting to the Dark Elves without too much of an issue, you do come across, only because I forgot to delete her token last time, Delilah, just wandering the streets in the area, before the guards, to greet you. Oh, well, this is a surprise. I wasn't expecting you guys so soon. Do I have the pleasure?
I reach out and give her a hug.
She does nod, happily smile. You see some of the guards tense up, like almost ready to throw daggers at you. Releasing the hug, Delilah does state, I do welcome the embrace, but you must understand that there is decorum in things we do.
Of course, of course. I've come here in the hoping of trying to acquire either in the components or an actual musical instrument that we may be able to barter for, so that we may be able to use it in a trade.
Oh, then you must be looking for a shop then. What is hard to come by down here, but it should not be a issue. Is there a specific type of instrument you're looking for?
I believe a lyre, maybe even a violin. I suppose something that's either a wood chime type instrument or possibly string.
A string instrument will likely cost you more, but not impossible. But a standard instrument will cost you around 100 gold. Anything more refined or with strings will cost you an additional 25 gold.
I understand.
Of course. She does walk you guys into town, and this time I'm just going to copy her because I think she's already in town.
Towen, how much coin do you got? I got 41.
I have 49 gold. and some.
50. Wait. How much gold is it?
It's 100 for standard and 125 for something a bit more.
Okay. Well, I asked her Hannah if she has 50 gold.
She looks at you, first amazed that you were allowed in, also abruptly giving the matriarch of a society a hug. But after that, when Talon is, hey, I know we're trying to hire you, but can you spare some cash so we can hire you? She just looks at you dumbfounded.
She said that she would do something that was worth 50. I was just saying, well, she had the other 50 to go in for this. Anyway, I asked him if we can pay 80 gold for the other one, the not so good one or whatever, or not the best one.
The merchant of the shop looks at you, questioning, but you are with the matriarch, so go ahead and roll persuasion.
Now that we're here, I do actually have a question for you.
What is it? I was about to call him a bartender. The shop owner just looks towards you, Taylor, and goes, that should be fine. Delilah, are they good people? They are capable and quite well off. But yes, they are intentionally good. All right. Looks towards Taylor, and he wraps up what appears to be a lyre, and then slips to the side, and who pays?
Say to Tolan and Severus to both of them give me 25 gold, and then I'll make up the difference.
I give 25.
I will too.
All right. Leaving Taylor with the remaining 30. You hand it over, and he hands over the lyre. Soon after, Severus asks this to Delilah, and she states, what is it?
We came across something interesting. I'm not sure how long this will last, but I thought I'd get someone who might hold some degree of specialization in, what is the scientific term for those who study and deal with plants? Is it horticulture?
Well, from what I'm aware, it's a... What exactly do you mean by that? Like a gardener, one that specifically studies the biology of plants themselves?
I'll just take out one of my test tubes and show her the giant strawberry. We found this in our adventures, and we're not quite certain of its full properties or how dangerous it might be, as well as that which created this thing. And we're kind of hoping that perhaps you might be able to grant us some insight.
That would be...
specimen.
Indeed.
What did you say?
I just said it looked interesting.
Yes. She does state, that would be a botanist you would want to speak with. I'm afraid I am not one. But there is a priestess in town currently tending to I think it was a cherry tree? Yes, I think it was a cherry tree. The tree in town, if you'd like to speak with them.
I would very much like so. What are their names?
The priestess, she goes by Lay. The priest goes by Lafon, but he technically is not a botanist. And the guard there is classified as nameless, as I would not want to give you his private information.
Understood. Thank you very much, Delilah. This would, I hope, help us in our current endeavor. Is there any news for you and your family and your elk down here? Any great news, perhaps? Celebrations are in order?
Nothing public, but there has been news in the works.
I hope that's good news then.
Of course.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and talk to these priests, and after that, what they have to say, we'll go back up, spend a night to recover, and go back to the Sunstone, guys. Does that sound like a plan?
I'm fucking tired, but
yeah.
damn, we need to hurry up. I want to get in there.
Well, you need to recover first because you actually physically can't go in there at the
More.
moment.
What you're talking about, I'm fine. Okay, I'll make it.
I think
Don't worry about
Talon
me.
could make it on a long rest,
I
not a short
actually,
rest.
I
I think.
yeah, I didn't suffer any sauce.
You don't
Yeah.
have any more spell slots, is my point.
No, I only actually used one. I only used like 1 second of spell slot. But yeah, I'll take a rest. I'm just role playing, like being grumpy grouch.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm going with you guys. I'm just grumping.
Hannah does state.
God damn it, Severus! Don't fucking talk to me like that right now. Fucking pissed.
Hannah does state.
Hurry up.
Have no idea what you're talking about, but a job's a job, and you have fulfilled your promise. So I'll try to do the intended circumstantial job. Delilah then states, you all do take care. I do need to tend to my own people, but may you all find success in what you do.
You as well, Diana. I give her a wave.
She waves, and you all go towards the cherry tree. Oops. Cherry tree. Eventually, you are able to find Leifon and Lei, the two priests of the area that are currently tending to the garden. Since you already know that Lei is the individual that the matriarch spoke of, you don't really need to ask anyone else unless you really want to for information.
Lay and left on. May my group and I have a moment of your time?
Certainly. I suppose so. Is there something you need?
We're hoping you might grant us some insight. We came across some interesting things. I hold out a vial that has the giant, really nice looking strawberry. And we're uncertain of the full properties of this and would wish to know whatever insight you might be able to grant.
Leifon does look at it and... not exactly sure what it is, but I can tell you it has been infused with magic for some time now, if I have to wager. Lei then responds with, I do believe Leifon is correct. From what I can tell, this strawberry, as strange as it is growing down here in the Underdark, has been growing for some time, or at the very least, it seems to be growing for some time. The indicated magic residue does suggest that Leifon is correct, that it has been seeped with it, but the overall structure of it does suggest that it's quite young, fairly young, rather than it simply becoming a strawberry and then growing of this size. It was infused with magic, and that expedited its growth. I would suggest to be careful, but currently that piece of fruit is not dangerous. But whatever you found it, I would suggest not eating it while you're there.
But eating it while we're not there would be okay.
More than likely, since it's no longer tethered or connected to the environment.
We were in an environment that had an unusual effect. About once every hour, there was a wave of energy that would try to exhaust us. Do you know of anything magic related that might hold such a power that would affect the environment like this?
I'm afraid I'm a botanist. The only thing I can tell you that magic can affect the environment, but since not many people carry it in the Elven Village or the Underdark, well, more in the Underdark do than the... I believe they call it the High Plain, but I'm not exactly sure. Never visited the Elven Village myself. But the people on the High Plain don't have as much magic. If you could tell me a little bit more, I could probably tell you more, but I have personally never encountered something like this.
I look to Talon and I give him a gesture about the other vial.
Like, how about this? Have you seen anything like this before?
The vial itself
Be
seems...
very careful.
Leifon looks at it, and so does Lei. Leifon does state, from what I can tell, the vial itself seems to be near pure raw energy, similar to magic, but not quite. It seems that the best guess I can tell you is it is very. It's a very give or take power source. Lay then states, more or less is accurate, but it's also quite dangerous. If I had to examine it closely, I would recommend not dealing with it too much. The residue energy does seem to suggest that it's capable of infusing something with energy, and if I had to wager on the fruit as well as this is likely the part of what caused this fruit to grow so large and so rapidly. It's potentially viable that the liquid in its current state might be able to help out someone low on their gifts, but it would also likely pose a threat to their body as it would rapidly try to do this. I would suggest not eating or drinking it, but I would not be able to fully tell you what it could do.
What happens if we put a drop on your cherry tree here? Would that help it or utterly decimate it?
I would advise against that, as the guards in the area would then have to attack you.
It was just a joke. Really, I wasn't going to do that. That would be super stupid.
She
Can
didn't
we
laugh.
borrow a single cherry from the cherry tree?
You may
It's not
consume.
that.
It technically isn't. Technically, well, it's not in season. It's what Lay would say. Yeah, I'm afraid it's not in season, but you're more than welcome to pick one once they are ready. Mid-fall, mid-spring next year. That being said, if you did theoretically place it upon the tree itself, it would increase its metabolic state, which would advance it further, but I'm not exactly sure if it fully developed the entire tree, or just simply the place you put drops in.
Sounds really bad in some ways.
No, Tumba.
I'm afraid I can't tell you what happened with a humanoid form, though. Like the same thing, but what was that, Tolan?
You grow a second head.
Potentially. I'm afraid I'm a botanist, not a biologist.
Well, you gave us some good insight. I was actually thinking of leaving the stuff outside before we go back in anyways, just in case of any extra danger. But I did think that maybe this liquid could help with the food issue. At least I thought it might. But maybe now it might not. But you gave us some food for thought, Lay and Layton. This will be of great help. And I just realized the irony of my sentence.
Lay does state, of course. I would suggest not using this as a primary means to grow your food, whatever dire situation you're in.
I'll definitely take it to heart. Perhaps if we can find a way of diluting it, it might be more viable. I don't know why I'm thinking of using salt for that. It seems a weird choice. Anyways, I believe that should be all that we can do right now. Shall we go ahead and move forward towards Silverhand?
No?
Hannah does state, so you know Sir Silver as well.
Indeed, and his lovely family. Looking quite forward to speaking with them again. They're always a treat.
Well, now, it seems that you all are highly connected, and I put you in the wrong area.
Oh, hey, Delilah, it's good to see you again.
She technically was taking care of things in her village, but she just waves while you visit her in her house. But your team managed to find Silver and his niece in the area without too much of an issue. They stuck around tending to things in the area itself until you were able to find them once more, which wasn't that difficult to find.
Silver, River, so good to see you guys again.
Oh, it hasn't been that long. It has been a few hours, but honestly not that long. So, what do I owe the pleasure?
Man, there's just so many things we have discovered recently that I'm not even sure where to begin. In just a few short hours, it's like an entire new world just opened up for us. I think we should perhaps have a private conversation and about it.
Certainly. Eventually, you do find a small little abode, or unless you're going to Silver House, that's perfectly fine. But I'm just not going to move you to another area. So eventually, you do go to Silver's estate, represented by this green square.
All right. So let's see. Where should we begin? I'll take out the couple of vials, those in the vials of strawberries, and I'll tell him. First off, these things came from inside the Sunstone. We found a means of getting inside, which will be explained in shortly. I just want to give a summary down. We also found a statue of a guy frozen in some kind of magical diamond, and everything seems to be related to sound in some form. So we hired Hannah here to give us a helping hand with it.
Hannah just waves.
Since there is a great deal of issue in regards to it, we thought having an expert in the art of song would be preferable. We found that these things, well, originally I thought maybe the strawberry and the water here, or liquid, might have been useful for food, but apparently it seems to be extraordinarily dangerous, and I'll tell them about it. That we got them from. So I would probably say, do not bring this stuff back in there. So if you wouldn't mind holding this for safekeeping for us, so it don't go and explode on us, that would be great.
Certainly. But you did mention that it was already inside, so I suggest not messing with it any further, I suppose.
Yeah, I tend to do so. It's unfortunate, really. I thought it might have been a useful help, but it might be too dangerous.
Potentially, but I'm afraid I'm not an alchemist. There would be need for a way to dilute it, but the only alchemists in town are the High Mage and potentially whoever is in the Underdark town. But I generally don't go down there as I am only allowed to on political matters.
Delilah is a treat. She's fun to talk to and party.
Yeah, she's quite nice. I've never parted with her though, but I've had nice meals.
We had so much fun, didn't we, River? Give her a thumbs up.
Sure. She doesn't know what to do, so she just puts a thumb up herself.
It's so much fun to tease her. So this is our plan. We kind of gotten banged up a little bit, so we need a rest. Do you have anyone who can do some form of teleportation? The only one of us who can really go in and out with any inside of it would be Talon and Hythal, and none of us can really have the ability to teleport on command. Unless, of course, Hannah can somehow do so in some funky way with the song that will resonance, which I'm not sure. Maybe she can, maybe she can't. But we're kind of hoping that something could be done, which is one of the reasons why we're having her come with us tomorrow. I suppose we probably want to talk to the High Mage before we retire. Talon, do you even want to talk to the High Mage? Or do you want to go ahead and quit it for today after this?
I don't want to talk to the High Mage, because I'm worried, like, he's gonna step in. I don't trust anybody. I'm like, all Talon thinks is like everyone's trying to like get what he wants right now. And he doesn't want anybody to be. If we have to involve him, I guess we will, but only if we get him come to that point after we try this, you know. But yeah, Talon's like no, like categorically like no,
Right.
no.
Then Talon, tell us everything you remember about this diamond statue guy.
No, I mean, sorry. Sure. And then I start telling you like.
You tell them of a high elven warrior trapped inside a chrysalis of
Talon
diamond.
actually draws like really well. Sorry, like, and I actually have like a sketchbook, so like I would like I've already sketched like this out like roughly like to like show like here's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And like like I always carry like a piece of like charcoal with me or whatever, like in sharpener, and like anyway, we haven't had time to rest, but like anytime we're sitting and talking, as I've been letting him talk, I've been sitting there scribbling in my book,
Yeah.
like planning on like what I want to do, even though, well, that's what Taylor's doing. Me as a player, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
Tinan explains his
Anyway.
future at hand. A high elven warrior trapped in a chrysalis made out of diamond, trapped inside the sunstone. Through the complex reverberations of the spell that's keeping things held together inside the stone, with timing and precision of Cerberus pointing it out, and the rest of the gang that could teleport, air quotes, going through at the exact moment in time, they were able to get inside, but discovered that the environment itself is and can knock you out. Thankfully enough, Tyrion hadn't been knocked out and rolled really, really well. I think he got 2 natural 20s, which was crazy. Out of a total of 3. That being said, the rest of the team got very exhausted. One such is currently... Oh, I'm going to say they're already here, but even though they're not on screen, one such individual is currently sleeping to get rid of it. But you need a way to break the chrysalis form, and to do that, it was generalized that something having to do with sound or a harmonic convergence, which often involves sound and the like, would be needed. And a recommendation of a bard was required, so it's why you hired out Hannah.
Hannah, with this knowledge, what would you suggest that we would need in addition to get inside without doing any damage to us or to anyone else, and to free the High Elven warrior?
Well, this is not exactly something new I deal with, but it is something I have seen done before. My former mentor, further in the Underdark, did teach me a few songs I can attune to magic with. It won't stop the magic, but it would slow it down to a crawl, but I would need to make sure I have the timing and everything prepped up and ready. I do have the instrument required, and I do have the songs required, and I potentially do have the time. Since your lot does have the permission to go up to the Sunstone, that is taken care of. But to go through the other side, you would need 2 potential things. I'm not sure if anyone else can teleport, but you would need to find a way to do so. I recommend some type of spell scroll or learning a spell from some powerful wizard, warlock, or the like. The only ones I know of, though, are the High Mage or potentially someone in the Drow village to the south of us, or further and deeper into the Underdark, which would cost you more time. That being said, I do believe that the High Mage does sell her services for a nominal fee.
The question would be, what else do I have left to trade? I do need a means of teleportation, especially if there's going to be an issue inside there, and I would need to be able to go in and out.
Silver would state, the High Mage is able to go to the surface, so she would take money.
That's a good point, but I need to do it more than just one-time teleportation. I don't have a means of teleporting outside of the stone.
That's fair. You could also potentially buy the services to learn the spell, but that would likely cost more. Hannah does state, I could potentially cause it to slow down slow enough that you may be able to jump inside, but that would be a far harder thing to accomplish. But doable, if you're willing to take the risk with your life.
If that were to occur, there might be extra consequences beyond just my life, and I don't want to cause any additional problems. Considering what happened inside of that place, there might be additional issues.
I'm only... As she just says, I'm only suggesting things.
I will take it up. We probably have some time to make a conversation about what options we have. I'm thinking of perhaps trying to buy some form of teleportation from the High Mage. Maybe she just has some form of Misty Step accessory that I can utilize. Because inside my head, I'm a paladin. I can't learn wizard or sorcerer magic. It'd have to be a divine or something, and I can't learn it.
Like subclass that gets it. I mean, I know you're not obviously that one, but I don't know. It I don't remember which subclass though, but there is a subclass that gets it. But didn't you? Oh, you failed. I was like, didn't you get like that Misty Step thing? I forgot. I had like a free Misty Step per day.
That wasn't me. That was the other companion.
It was Kathal. I forget. Well, everyone can go in except Tolan can't, right?
Tolan cannot. Talon and Kaithal can with their own power.
Mm. Yeah, I don't have a way of getting in and out.
Yeah, damn it.
Hannah did suggest she could get the spell to a crawl, so you might be able to jump in, but that would pose a high threat to your life, but doable. Another way is, the way she's suggesting, getting ability to jump through due to some teleportation means, or asking the High Mage to help out. Basically, you have to pay for her services. Silver does suggest potentially learning the spells from her to make it easier for you in the long run, but it would also cost money.
I was thinking if it was possible to learn it from her, but I don't know what I have to trade for it. Well, Talon,
we don't have much money left, so
I think I have a few things worth of trade. We do have that water, a couple of vials of it, and the strawberry. We might be able to utilize that for trade. Well, Talon, it seems we're kind of strapped for options. I have no idea where we can go other than the High Mage to just learn the ability to teleport. Unless you want to risk your life at a very high chance of death.
Hannah does state, if you have more sums of potential currency, Oliver might be able to assist me on the spell potency of my songs, which would make the potential danger less. And he would, in fact, work for a meal. Well, more than one meal, potentially 5.
I can actually cook due to me having the cooking proficiency and tools. I can actually cook very many good meals.
That would be fine, but he would have them be preserved, not cooked already. Well, you can ask him, I suppose.
Well, there's an option there, Talon. How would you like to do this?
I agree. I think we should do this. It sounds much better. Make them rations.
Very well. Let's go and talk to this guy then.
Help you, and by that I mean I'll have my unseen servant help you because I'm definitely not doing anything. I do offer my help.
I go to talk to Oliver.
Eventually getting to the bar without too much of an issue, your team does converge back with Oliver. Kaithal technically isn't there anymore, but, whatever. Well, no, it's still pretty early. He's still at the bar. Forget what I said a while ago. Hannah does look towards Oliver and explains the situation as briskly as she can. And Oliver does state, oh, well, sure, I suppose I can check things out. That being said, do you have a meal now? I'm kind of hungry.
Sure, actually. I'll go to the bartender and ask if I can borrow his kitchen.
The bartender just looks at you, befuddled.
Oh, thank you, my man. I go in the back and take our own food stuff, and I prepare a delicious meal as much as I can with my own cooking utensils.
You do so without too much of an issue, and eventually you do give him a nice meal. He does thank you for it, and he does finish eating, and he does state, "All right then, and give me more four of those, and we got a deal."
Very well. You'll have a nice breakfast tomorrow morning.
No, no, I need them now. I don't
Oh,
work for
sorry.
later payment.
Oh, when you said meals, I was kind of thinking breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the order of. Well, you get what I meant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, it's fine.
I
Basically
go ahead
rations.
and,
He'll work for rations.
I go ahead and make the best that I can. Do you want me to do rolls?
Yeah, go ahead and if you have the cooking utensils.
How many?
Just four more. Like the first one, I'll give you for a freebie. Da, da, da.
Man, well, I did get advantage because Talon is helping me.
Sure. I honestly don't remember Talon saying that, but I
thought he was
I
going
can
to
believe
help
it.
me.
I haven't seen servant help him. So like,
Oh
I'm just
yeah,
imagining,
that's what it was. That's what it was.
it's
Talon's
in
unseen
there.
servant.
It's in there, like so he can like leave things like to stir. It'll sit there and stir for him. And then
Right.
he's like, I'll just sit in there, and he's like, all right, I need this to be stirred, and I'm like, I sigh. I guess I'll have to think about it.
Two of the meals are fantastic. Definitely A-class Michelin star meals. Other two are okay. They're definitely good, but it'd be a 4, maybe 3-star restaurant at best. But he looks towards you, nods. Preserving the meals, you do hand them over. If you do have 5 rations, Cerberus, those are gutted out. Unless you want to split it among each of you. Whatever.
I'll take away my rations.
Okay. You haven't really needed them too much, so it's fine for now. Oliver nods, puts them in his side pouch, and then brings out his own loot, and then looks towards the rest of you. All right then, where exactly are we heading off? Hannah then states, "We're going up to the Sunstone, but I do believe they need to rest." Well, just tell me when you need to go, and I'll be going then.
Tomorrow morning.
Fair enough.
Yes, we want to go first thing.
How many hours
What he
before
said.
we have a need a full night rest do we have?
4.
Right, never mind. Perhaps I'll do it before we leave. I'll go ahead and just have a night rest.
All right. For some reason, there are 2 owls here. Delete. Eventually, your team does rest, relax, and finish off. Well, Oliver finishes off breakfast as soon as possible, and Kaithal will catch up to you guys eventually. He does know where you're going. He can get there without too much of an issue since he's done it before. So he'll be resting for now, but eventually we'll meet you guys there. Let's see. Jam outside. Delete. Mark's not supposed to be there. Oops. Okay. Eventually, your team makes it back to the wall-crawling section of the chasm. Hannah and Oliver do need to use the spider web's structure to cling onto the roof, because they don't have the boots.
I can just pick them up.
That'd be a weird thing to do. Like, how do you?
I can also just tie them to my person.
Now, I'm just wondering the physics on that.
Also, full body, superhumanly strong. At least that's what I assume. People who are near Abby score 20. Of any other scores, they're superhuman. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. I'm just wondering the physics of you're upside down. Well, you're right side up, upside down, and she's being held on, but gravity still affects her, but not you.
Well, I think of it along the lines of, you know, how people like Cloud and Tifa from Final Fantasy are able to do their stuff.
Like, it's not really needed. She does her and Oliver do thank you, but all this just basically means is they're in extreme tough terrain. They can only move 1/3 of their speed, which is fine. They're not going in. But my awkward thoughts aside, the lieutenant/commander of his regiment does greet you all. He then states, "Oh, greetings. Here once more to take a gander inside. I did tell the guards that you would be around, but I didn't expect the next day."
We had some major success in our efforts.
Oh, well then. You have permission, as mentioned beforehand, so feel free to do with what you will. I'm afraid no geologists this time, at least not today. Tomorrow they'll be back. But once again, don't destroy the sunstone, as mentioned before.
Understood.
Oliver and Hannah eventually get to the sunstone before you guys, because, you know, they had to get there. But eventually you do make it there. Hannah looks towards the precision markings, and Oliver begins to strum his instrument. As soon as that happens, Cerberus, you give them the information on, hey, this is the current shift patterns, here are the current movements of the spell, and eventually you do hold and press on to the magic into their minds. They begin to strum their instruments slowly but methodically and rapidly, playing and strumming. Eventually, Hannah does begin to sing her songs. It's almost as if she's singing a multitude of songs all at once, as if her own vocal patterns begin to chime in and break through spells. The movement and pattern of the spells that the Sunstone currently has in it begin to slowly and methodically slow down to a creeping crawl. The Sunstone itself is still visibly there, but Talon, Cerberus, and Tolwyn. I still can't believe Talon and Tolwyn's names are so dang close. Can tell that for a brief instance in time, there is a flicker of the solid mass of the Sunstone, which means that they are synchronizing well, and you will have a chance to jump in. The jump does require an acrobatics check to go in before it solidifies again. If it does solidify, you basically get rebuffed, and you do sustain 5d8 points of force damage, which for some of you could kill you.
I'm ready to jump.
Alright. Oliver does stay towards the rest of you. Alright, this one seems to be ready. What about the rest of you? You ready to go perilously into who knows where?
You said it's acrobatics?
It would be acrobatics.
Can I use my, like, what's it called? My Misty Step on this or no?
The Misty Step would work. Like, flat outright Misty Step would just work. Because it's been slowed down so much that, like, beforehand, Cerberus's brief moment in time of being able to cast magic to get in there is now almost a fraction of what this current now time is. Beforehand, let's say it was half of a second. Now with their spells intertwining and slowing down the Sunstone, it's like 10 seconds. So Misty Step would just work, honestly.
Say when you're ready for us to roll, DM.
Alright. As soon as their songs begin to play, she then... Well, I haven't said it yet, but I already told you the roll. Hannah then states, alright, go. And seeing the movement and pattern when it flickers into a non-solid mass, you can't see inside it, but you can tell that it has thinned down. Caitlin, you jump in using magic. Tolwen, you jump in using your acrobatic skills, which are lacking. And Cerberus, you jump in with your acrobatic skills, which normally are lacking. They're not the greatest thing in the world, but you're just keen, focus, and jump into the other side. You all rolled fantastically, even with the modifiers that you guys have.
Yeah, I was expecting to die there. I'll be honest.
I was expecting someone to fail, but yeah, no one failed.
I have one roll, one good roll.
But all jumping inside, you do eventually. Oops, Hannah's not supposed. Oh wait, Hannah does go with you guys. I'm gonna say Cerberus manages to pull her in because she was supposed to jump in with you. Because this is the secondary thing of why you brought her here. Yeah, I'm gonna say Cerberus' natural 20 brings her inside. Grabbing onto her hand, you also pull her inside. She grabs on, and you both jump in without an issue. As soon as this happens, you can see the inside once more. For you, Toll wouldn't be the first time. And in front of you, you do see a. I'm just gonna reveal it since it's technically still in the diamond. A high elven warrior in clad diamond armor. If the armor wasn't fully enveloping in them, around them, causing probably suffocation, if not death. But something about this does strike you as off. Entering inside. Go ahead.
Hannah, we do me a few things. First, keep account for 1 hour. Within 1 hour, a surge of power might cause us exhaustion and some damage, but you don't have to worry. I'll be able to protect you and keep you healed if that were to occur. But if it does, if the hour comes near, give us a warning.
I'll try. So, a little bit about the environment, and sorry, Cerberus, but technically you're wrong. I just made it an hour last time to show you how dangerous it was. Because if I didn't make it an hour, you all probably would have died. Even with somehow Taylor's incredible luck. The environment itself is twirling and whirling with magical energy, causing a vibrational pattern in here. So that strange feeling of almost just tipping over still remains. The magical energy fluctuates every 10 minutes, not every hour. I just allowed you guys to take the hour because I didn't want to kill you outright with a trap you weren't fully prepared for.
Then 10 minutes, then.
Yeah. You tell her the correct information. She then nods in agreement and then states, other than that, you do see that the diamond itself still remains here. Nothing changed, nothing changing. You can tell that the place where Cerberus picked the last strawberry in the area has already fully grown and adapted a new one. So, yeah. Stuff grows here quickly. Which may or may not be a good thing. That being said, she does nod and she does state, alright then, do you want me to examine the crystal itself?
Please do.
Coming over to this crystal, she does place her hands on it and then begins to hum. It's a slow, small melody. Words. It's a so. Thank you. I'm just gonna say song. That it is almost near transparent. Well, near non-perceptive. But you can tell that she is humming along with what likely is a vibration within the diamond itself. As soon as that happens, and as soon as she clicks on to the resonate, and as soon as she balances with the diamond, she then looks towards your team. Alright, from what I can tell, this diamond was grown due to a magical trap. But it does seem to be still active, keeping the specimen inside fully intact. I can break it, but it would potentially pose a threat, as it was a fail-safe system to keep something in place, but I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe the person or something on them. Or maybe the sunstone itself. I am honestly not sure.
I look towards Talon. Your thoughts, man? This is your mission.
Fine. Open it. Let's open it. Everything will be fine.
Very
The
well.
gods
Then,
have led us here.
then
I believe, Tolan. I believe.
Tolan, Talon, be on your guard and prepare for possible combat. I will try to stay near Hannah and protect her in case something goes wrong.
Father, I mean, that might be my father in there. He's not gonna. He wouldn't do anything to hurt us. If we save him, he'll be grateful we saved him. If he's even alive in there, there's no way.
I'm not certain what's going to happen, so I'm trying to be cautious and make sure that.
Well, watch what you say, because I don't like you impugning the honor of my father. You don't even know him, and neither do I. We're gonna find out.
Can I cast
Let's open
sense
it.
motion?
Sis, what now?
I want to sense emotion on the man inside the crystal.
Rage.
Rage?
Sense is picking up the emotions of others for the duration. When you cast a spell as your action each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your senses on one humanoid you see within 30 feet of you. You instantly learn the target's prevailing emotion, whether it's love, anger, pain, fear, calm, or something else. Anger. If the target isn't actually a humanoid or it is immune to being charmed, you sense that it is calm. And you're targeting the humanoid, right? It is anger.
Okay. So I'll like cast that spell and just say, if this is your father, I believe that we definitely should try to free him, but maybe everyone take a step back. I feel just rage coming from him right now. Give him some space.
You're sure?
That's
I
what feel.
grab you by like the scruff of your neck and like pull you into my face, like he's alive.
I sense rage.
He's alive. I just
Well,
like
it
that's all
seems
I
so.
like. I don't even hear the other. I don't even like hear the. I don't hear the rest of what you're saying. Like, open it. Open it.
And give him some space.
All
I
right.
move forward, closer.
Unfortunately, Hannah does need to be within 5 feet to cast her songs. But eventually
you sing louder, babe. Sorry.
maybe. She begins to sing, and eventually the songs do resonate with the crystal itself, chiming in and breaking in. So a few things of how crystals can actually break. One is hitting it with something that's far more dense, and another, surprisingly, is sound. But obviously this is D&D, so a song can't break this because this is D&D. Let's not be too real. The song begins to resonate and chime in, and like a glass breaking due to a vocal pitch, the crystal itself begins to break, shatter, and in turn fall down to the ground. Eventually, she does step back because Towan did state that this person is angry, allowing her to take a dexterity saving throw at advantage.
I did state that I was helping her.
Yeah, that's why it's at advantage. Normally, she would not have gone that if Tolwyn didn't say anything, but you helped her, so it's at advantage. But she still surprisingly rolled 11 twice. But trying to pull her back, you can tell that this man immediately swings towards the first individual that it sees, which would be Hannah. Let's see here, current score with modifiers. Just swinging with his fist, he goes almost to deck her, but surprisingly enough, is unable to strike. Without a blade in hand, who knows how strong this man really is. But you can tell that after a short time, he assesses the information at hand. He looks towards Tolwyn, Hannah, Cerberus, Talon, and then turns his head towards Talon in an arced position, as if he's questioning what he's currently seeing. But he then assesses that the area itself is still here, almost dumbfounded that the ground still exists. And then in a simple yet overpowering sense, Talon says, "Father." The man looks towards you, Talon, and then states, "Oh, so it is you. Might I ask why this place still exists?"
No idea. I didn't think to figure that out. I just tried to break you out. I've been looking for you for nigh on 7 decades. I'm I can't believe you're alive. Like I'm like starting to move closer towards him. Like, are you? Is it really you? Are you okay? Like, these are my friends. Like, they're not gonna hurt you. Like, everything's okay. Like, you're safe now. We've saved you.
We don't
There's
have
nothing bad that's gonna happen at all right now.
we don't have very long in here before another wave inside the stone happens. We should
Hold
try
on a minute, all right?
uh,
Ah,
Tolwyn,
you'll be
as
fine.
it has yet to overlap 10 minutes, you can still sense anger, but it has gone towards a calmness or presence of calmness. Almost, in fact, as if you're reading two emotions now.
Gotcha.
But the man that Talon has named as their father looks towards you. And for some reason, I can't find your dad's name, Talon. Do you remember it?
Yeah. Actually, no, wait, that wasn't. I think I wrote it down. Hold on. Here.
Abaddon?
Abaddon? No. Abaddon. Funny. That'd be hilarious. No, why not do something funny? His name. No, it's funny. That'd be too much. I would say his name's Sanguinius then, if you say that, but that'd be too much. No, I didn't write it down. Shit, no, I wrote down another person's name.
Well, we
I
can make
should
it
have
up.
wrote his
It's
name
fine.
down. I had a name for him.
I know you
Anyway,
did, but I can't find it.
What was it? Yeah, should I write it in? I put it in Discord on there.
We can always
Anyway, I'll look real quick because he's saying things to us, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him father until we discover it. There we go. But your father looking towards you does seem to be hesitantly looking at you. But he is surprised that you are still here. He's surprised that everything is still here. But calm in his resolve at what currently is going on, he does look towards your teammates and simply states, "It's a pleasure to meet you all." You can tell, Tolwyn, that the emotional stance of anger is still there, but the calmness does turn to a more it's kind of hard to tell. The anger is still there, but pain now begins to become a ever-present emotional stance. His father then looks towards the environment and then
His
states,
name is Alanon. Allanon. Alanon.
Alani?
Non.
N-O-N. Alanon.
Yeah.
Okay. Alanon does look towards the environment and does state, towards Talon, "Well, I'm glad you are alive still. But why is this place still here?"
I'm
What is
uncertain.
this place, Father? I don't even know. All I knew was to get you out. That's all I could think of when I saw you in there. What is this place?
I'm uncertain of what it is that you're saying, so I don't know how to answer your question.
This, he does move closer towards Talon and then gestures towards the lake itself, is an environment that should not be or should not be any longer. It is a place simply known as the Fountain of Youth, an ever vibrant, ever embalming presence, a life energy given to us by the gods formerly on high. Now, with the storm intertwined with it, giving it life and form, I bound myself and bound it into the ground to destroy it. But it seems to me that fate had decided to change the rules.
There's no storm here currently.
I believe I have an answer to your question, sir. Currently, we are not inside a storm, nor technically a place. We're actually inside a giant stone / crystal sphere that's currently inside of a in the Underdark, currently deep under the earth. So technically, all we have to do is just create a slowed down field inside this wall of force here for us to jump through, and on the other side there would be no this. This place is sealed away.
So me standing into the ground simply buried what was underneath, not shattering it.
Well, I'm uncertain actually. I don't really know what this sphere is. It could be that this place is frozen in time, like a. I'm not certain how much you know, but there is a technical term. I believe it's called, if my memories are correct, I believe the term is a demispace. This place may be a type of demispace. I believe that's the technical term that was used back in my old home.
Talon looks at you and he's like glaring at you. He's like, when you speak to my father, you show some respect. For once in your life, it's Lord Alanon to you. Sorry, father. My friend is uncultured and more swine than man. I'm working on it.
Your father does nod in improvement of your actions, as well as taking and mending to your companion's, let's say, slovenly mannerisms. But he does nod and simply states, "Time changes us all, and potentially this is how those of lesser state speak now. But they did assist you, and simple matters of speaking can be overlooked. For some time, at the very least."
It's like. Anyway. Anyway, father. Well, like, let's get you out of here. Like, what should we do? Like, do we need to, like, is this place going to be safe? Do you think we can, steal this demi-plane, or like, I don't know, is it leaking out?
The space here, as I recall, is sealed inside the sunstone. I
Yeah,
don't
but we
believe.
can get in. Something else can too.
Hannah does state it's possible, but unless they know the songs or unless they know the information you do and your abilities, they probably won't unless they are very determined. And then Elenon does look towards the crystal itself and then does state, "I'm afraid it's more dire than that. Regardless of your ignorance of the information at hand, this stone, as you call it, of the sun, does require someone here to mandate what little amount of energy remains here." Hannah does state, "I'm afraid I don't follow. Of course you wouldn't. It requires someone to be here ever eternal." And then looking towards the pedestal where the diamond formed, you probably now begin to understand why he's here. I, in the past, sacrificed myself and used my gifts to bring it to the ground, potentially killing it off, but that did not work, clearly.
How
Viveth,
how
you
sir,
saved. Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Will anybody work? All it needs is a life force,
He then
or
looks
do they have to
towards
be skilled like you?
you, Taylor, and he does nod in improvement. "It seems your teachers have studied and trained you well. Yes, it does require a life source." And then looking towards Cerberus, Tolwyn, and Hannah, any one of them would do. I suggest you pick one, and we move forwards.
Come over here for a minute.
sir,
How evil are we allowed to be?
sir,
DM, hold on. How evil are we allowed to be, DM?
Ah.
Because I'm straight up like, Hannah, look over there, and I'm like, push her in the crystal. Like,
Like,
I don't
pushing
know what
her
to think.
into
I
it
don't
is
care.
probably fine, evil-ish. Like,
we
I mean,
wouldn't
it's
be able
really
to get
evil.
out.
It's terrible.
yeah,
It's
it's
definitely
terrible.
not a good thing.
We
It's
wouldn't
a
be able
terrible
to
thing to
get
do.
out.
So okay. So sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that because I'm really tired.
Yeah.
The crystal, the actual sunstone itself, like the crystal that's basically sealing this area in, will cease to exist unless somebody basically opts to spend eternity frozen in diamond in the center of this thing.
Yes. The reason why Aladon was here to begin with is he wanted to bring this thing crashing to the ground, which means he likely killed the last person that was in here. That being said, he also had to forcibly go into the system of magic itself to bring it down to the ground, which unfortunately didn't work, but it did trap in here, more than likely extremely angry due to that. But once there is no longer a life here, the sunstone itself might implode, might explode, might do something, might cause the storm to reactivate, and the only way to undo it is to leave someone here permanently, or to leave someone here and someone take shifts. But a way to keep them alive while still, a way to keep them alive, whether or not they have magic, is the crystal system that keeps them there alive. But it also doesn't allow them to die.
We could kidnap that one elf guy who's a real asshole and bring him here.
Alternatively, just so that I understand here, were the sunstone to cease to exist and this area become aligned again with the regular world, we're on the ceiling of a large cave. Wouldn't this life-giving energy fluid sort of just fall into the lake below?
Telwyn, go ahead and roll nature. Advantage.
Sorry, Discord froze on me for a bit. What were you saying?
Basically, depending on what might happen here, if it does no longer cease to exist and just seeps into the ground around it, it might just make the area verdant. Towin, that is a very good idea. That is very good logical thinking. It would likely do that, but the implications of that likely means is that yes, that'll happen. The area around become vegetatious. It will grow, develop, and advance to a place and time where it's basically an underground forest that will sustain and keep life whole. However, in order for that to happen in the amount of time it likely would, it would likely take over everything in a mere moment, which means that the elves in the city, in the current city that you are in, will likely be overcome by nature itself and potentially die due to all the almost extreme growth of plants in the area, potentially burying them alive, or potentially doing other things. Yes, it's possible, but you would probably need to warn the town to evacuate, maybe deeper in the ground before you leave, or else it'd be a major threat to the people living there.
And then if they were to evacuate, then and this dropped down and sort of infused the area where their town is with this ever springing life,
yes,
which would then make it much more livable.
And
they could come back and live somewhere nice.
Yeah, and you got a natural 20. It would potentially stabilize the above ground as well, meaning that they may or may not. You're honestly not sure on this one, but you got a natural 20. It might stabilize the rest of the environment that the sunstone on first impact and throughout generations caused it to become chaotic.
Right.
Yeah.
And
awesome
thing. It would be diluted, right? Because it's following into this underground leak system.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it still would be a major danger unless someone is warned. Cerberus, go ahead.
Yeah.
How can we make this happen, and how did you come across this idea?
Along the state, this implicational circumstance was applied before I got here. Are you implying I'm the one that caused all this destruction?
No, I meant Tolwyn's idea about turning this place underground into a nature wonderland.
Well, I mean, we're banging on the ceiling, and when puddles on ceilings tend to fall down, so
That is true. Hannah does look towards you, Cerberus, and does state, more than likely, based on the information I have, based on you guys, if what he's saying is true, that lake will likely bring in a good amount of life into the environment we now stand in. But that is a lot of magic that'll seep into the ground inside of a living city, which would likely pose threats to them, as all of that into the ground all at once would likely cause some type of adverse effects unless precautions are taken.
yes, we need to warn people and have them evacuate first, but if we were to do this, it could solve all of the town's problems as far as food is concerned. Like,
That
no
sounds
longer would they live in an area that was scarce, but in a verdant garden.
wonderful. But I'm curious. My Discord froze for a while. How did this idea come about?
Oh, Towan just thought of it.
Yeah, I just thought of it.
And how would we do this exactly?
Is letting it.
If nobody goes into the crystal, the sunstone should hypothetically disintegrate. It's sitting directly above the lake in the middle of town, so this like water, like energy water here would technically be on the ceiling and would fall down into the lake.
Got it.
No one needs to go into the crystal for this plan to work, but no one has to stay inside on Earth. Well, let me explain this clearly. If you don't want to potentially cause an effect to happen in this area, two things need to happen. Everyone needs to leave the crystal area, including the sunstones and main room. And two, someone specifically does not have to go inside the crystal or remain there in order for this to happen. If someone does, then the area will still be stabilized, things will be fine, but you will be sacrificing a person inside.
All right. Then we need to have someone. Does everyone agree with Tolan's plan? Because I'm up for Tolan's plan.
Yeah, sacrifice somebody. Like I don't want to be, evil. I'll do what I have to do, but I don't want to do something bad.
Tolan's plan doesn't involve anything bad happening.
Yes, that's why I said, yeah, I want to do it. So I
And
said, I
Lord
agree.
Alanon, this would help dilute and distribute this magic, so it would no longer be a concentrated threat.
Don't really care
Be
about
integrated
that.
into the ecosystem. Into the ecosystem.
See, Father,
Unlikely to.
not all my friends are fools.
Quite, but I don't really care about that. As long as it doesn't destroy the forest above, I can care less for what happens below.
It should assist the forest above.
Regardless of that, your kind intentions, someone needs to remain here while the city likely evacuates. I am not going to be the one that does so before anyone asks.
I cannot get out on my own. Otherwise, I would volunteer.
I also cannot get out on my own either.
Then it seems that either of you
Stay,
can
Father.
volunteer.
Doesn't someone have to be able to get out on their own to be able to do this plan?
Or simply allow yourselves to die. And it'll happen once your life no longer remains here. Hannah then states, that's a little morbid. But since I am on this side with you, we can do the attempted jump through the walls again, but it'd be a little bit harder. But potentially it wouldn't be too difficult, since Oliver would be able to see that a fluctuation in sound is happening inside.
That seems best. We just need to be able to warn the city first and give them ample time to evacuate.
And to do that, someone would need to temporarily be in the crystal for a little while.
She does state, you hired me for the day, so as long as you come back for me, I should be okay. Either that.
We kind of need you to not, because the only way to get the crystal to be undone requires you.
Well, Then you did hire me for the day, so once everyone's evacuated, I can come up and play my song while the person inside jumps through.
All right. So Talon, Tolwyn, and me. Which one of us would like to do this? Should we just make this offer or flip a coin?
This is my idea. I'll stay behind and keep things going until the town is evacuated. If somebody's going to get me anyways.
At this
Very
point in
well.
time, everyone go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw.
Mhm.
Not bad. Not bad.
I don't even feel it.
This time Talon fails. So everyone
I
else
had
seems.
advantage because I'm so healthy.
I'm afraid not.
I feel so good.
Service, you're fine. Tolwyn, you're fine. Hannah is not. Elenon is okay. Talon, you're not. So immediately you both get hit with an extreme amount of fatigue. Hannah then just basically spouts out like water. Basically almost as if she was sucker punched in the stomach. You both sustain 3d6 points of technical force damage as it's almost suffocating in here.
I
That-
reach out and heal her 12 points.
Okay. You do so, and she is right as rain. Well, better. That did knock a good amount of the wind out of her. Yeah, maybe me not being here is a good idea. I honestly don't know how long I would survive. With that, Tolwyn jumps into the crystal, freezing himself in place, which also keeps him from doing the Constitution saving throws, which is one of the reasons why it's here.
Mm-hmm.
It was never mentioned, but since Tolwyn jumped in, you know it now. But coming towards the wall, Hannah does begin to sing her song as quickly as possible because she does not want to, die from here, but by just standing. And eventually, Oliver is able to resonate with her after seeing the flickering formation of the sunstone going more or less transparent. And you all, minus Tolwyn, get to the other side. Even though Tolwyn's out here, not anymore.
Captain, news for you. Oh, Oliver and Hannah, thank you for your help. We'll be calling for your assistance in perhaps a couple of hours, Oliver. So please hang tight. Captain, we have wonderful and somewhat concerning news. It turns out that there is... Oh, shoot. Was there already a plan, by the way, about what we're going to tell them? Or should I just laugh my ass off? I can't recall what
You can lie.
No, just tell them. No, I mean, I'll tell 'em, like, we investigated the Sunstone, and turns out my father was in there. Who knew? And we let him out. And there's a good thing and a bad thing about that. The good thing is now we're gonna be able to give you guys enough power and energy, like to grow a bunch of whatever down here, right? All their stuff.
Dude.
And then I say the bad news is, you guys all need to evacuate the city because it's going to be so rapid and so crazy that it might destroy the city.
Roll. Roll
yeah.
persuasion.
I try to help.
Shit.
Cerberus,
and
you help. Giving Talon an advantage.
I just tell him all that, then I'm like, because I guess my dad's still with us, so we're like, hey, there he is.
Yes, for a while he did think that was Talon, because he did see Talon turn into a bear last time, so he might have been able to turn to an elf.
That's 12 into 12. I gotta stop rolling twinsies. But anyway, well, like I'm telling the truth anyway. I'm
You're telling
portraying
the
him
truth.
that
That's not an
things are gonna
issue.
happen. But
It's just him trusting you enough to go into town and tell everyone to evacuate. But I rolled low. So immediately he does believe you. He doesn't believe that Alanon is not Tolwyn. He still believes that's Tolwyn. But he does nod in improvement and then states towards the guards, "Guards, I don't exactly know what's... Get into the village, get into the town, and cause them to evacuate into the tunnel systems. I don't care what you have to do, tell them, but get them to the Underdark with the drows, and then we'll figure things out from there." Looking towards Talon, he does state, "Thank you for this information. You're likely going to be arrested after this all happens, as you did break the Sunstone, which is the one thing I asked you not to do."
Technically, the sunstone is not broken.
my father knows it. Also, I'm giving you guys a way to. We're giving you a way to feed your people. So you can try and arrest me, which would be ill-advised, or you can thank us for doing this favor for you, unasked, and then we'll be on our way.
Your father nods in improvement of how you're treating the what he would consider the lesser folk, because well, the captain is an elf. He's not a full elf. Well,
Well,
what's it called?
yeah, we would despise him.
High
Yeah,
elf.
high elf. Thank you. So you wouldn't care for him, but the captain does state, "We'll likely try to do something, but honestly, you'll probably be fine. You are friends with the Silvers as well as the Romanovs, so I honestly don't know. But again, you'll likely be trialed, but not held in contempt or of court or anything like that. Well, maybe in contempt of court. Nevertheless, thank you for this information. Get to the floor on your own." And he does release the spiderweb rope.
Case goes as we leave because we're not
Yeah.
coming. At least.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to go to Silverhand. Well, actually, Talon, can you send a message to Silverhand with your owl?
Yeah, probably. What do you want to say?
Give him the general information so that he can perhaps use this to his advantage to help as many people as possible.
You mean like Tolwyn said, evacuate the town and tell people to evacuate?
Yeah. I don't really know.
Well,
Yeah, we're just evacuating the town.
Yeah, but he might not believe us unless it comes directly from us or something.
Oh, that's
Guys
fair.
are trying to think ahead of any emergency situation.
Okay, that's fair.
Sure. I'll write a little note and send my owl on the way.
All right. You do so, and you
my falcon.
your falcon. Your falcon flies into the town and eventually does find Silverhand. Since you're still on the surface of the roof, you can tell that Silverhand does look up towards you, nods. It's kind of hard to see, but you can still see nonetheless. And then he does begin to evacuate people as well as the rest of the guards. Eventually, there is a more or less conga line going into tunnels, going further into the Underdark. Thanks to the reputation you've governed with Silverhand, you've definitely helped out this city. So getting him to cooperate with you wasn't that difficult. So eventually they do bring him to the Drow village. A good amount of them will be there, but others will be scattered into tunnel systems, which more or less should be fine, but unfortunately not everyone listens to when people say, "Yeah, leave the area." But that'll only be a handful of people. Who knows if they'll survive, though. That being said, like Asshole helps. That being said, though, the main majority of the populace has gone to the Underdark, and the rest, a handful, have scattered about. The guards are also currently protecting the people, and you did mention it'll happen soon. So more than likely, they will be you'll basically have a ghost town, unless you try to do something at your current situation at hand. That being said, you can tell that the High Mage did not leave their residence, but honestly, you probably don't have to worry about them. Like, yeah, you probably don't have to worry about them. Give or take.
All right, it looks like everything's preparedness that we can. Let's go ahead and do this.
All
Yeah,
right.
we gotta pull one.
uh, Singing the song once more, Oliver and Hannah do begin to do so. As soon as that happens, Hannah does state, "All right, you only get one chance to do this, and someone will have to try to help me, or I can go in there by myself. It shouldn't be an issue."
I'll help.
All right. As soon as the time frame comes back, Taylin, you can cast Missing Step, or you can do the acrobatic check. But Cerberus, go ahead and do acrobatics.
Chance missing stuff this time. I can get back out.
All right. With Missy Step, you immediately jump towards the other side. With the help of Cerberus, Hannah gets in there without Kipper scuffed. Cerberus, you kind of hit the wall after helping her inside, and you do sustain 2d6. Are considered prone, but no one's attacking you currently. You take 9 points of damage. So, the prone position is not that much of an issue. But you do get to the other side. Alanon decides not to go with you guys, more than likely not wanting to be in the prison they came from. But your team eventually meets all back inside. Oliver finishes their song and, looking towards Alanon, does state, "Well, you part of their group? I am one of their fathers, yes. Oh, pleased to meet you. Why don't you go with them? I have other pressing matters." All right, creepy. Well, I'm gonna be here for a while. If you wanna not talk, that'd be appreciated. Tell me now, are there others of you that can do the job you do? A few others, but no one currently in town. Well, what do you ask? Just wondering if they'll be trapped in there forever. Hopefully not. Creep. As we enter back to the gemstone.
And here comes the part where I thought an issue was going to come. I kind of felt that this dude was going to be a problem.
I have no idea what you just said. You sounded robotic to me, but it sounded funny.
I never said anything bad about my father.
I didn't say it out loud.
That's out of game.
I heard you.
I
I
didn't
heard
say
you.
it out loud.
It's fine. But the team
Taylin.
enters back inside. Hannah ready and prepared to sing the song that'll free Tolwyn. Whether that song works this time or not, whether Taylin and the servers are able to get out without, sustaining more damage, and Tolwyn currently in the life and death state in a function of, well, it's a very strange way of gaining eternal life. And with life comes death. Whether it be Tolwyn's death, the death of the sphere, or potentially another's death, one thing does stand true. Hannah really should have been paid a lot better than this. But you only had so much cash. And what'll happen next time, we'll have to figure it out. Ironically enough, and not ironically enough, because I already screwed this up. Next time, as we end the session.